Hey everyone, this is Technicolor Mike B with another clown makeup demonstration. Some people know me as Sir Toony Van Dukes, and we're going to do a classic Auguste style clown makeup today. Although it's going to be more flesh tone than the Auguste color, but sort of inspired by the older style, bolder Auguste clown makeup. So I always begin shaving, wash my face, clean it off, just wipe it down, make sure there's no excess oil on my skin that will interfere with the makeup. Everything is clean and ready to go. So I always start with the lightest color, and that would be white for today's design. And there's going to be white around the mouth, or as clowns call it, the muzzle area, and white around the eyes. So I take a bit of my clown white grease paint and just put it on the back of my hand, so that gives me a place to work from. It also helps warm the makeup up, although today is a particularly warm day outside, in the mid-80s or maybe up to 90, they were saying. Fortunately, we're indoors in air conditioning, so I don't really have to warm up the makeup to soften it up, but if it was a cold day, warming the makeup up on your hand will soften it and make it easier to work with. So I just usually start with my fingers. Apply the white. Around the mouth. Patting the makeup helps even it out. Get rid of any of the finger marks from smearing the makeup on. I can go on to the eye area. And one consideration when doing a clown makeup is always, what are you wearing with it? Are you putting a hat on or a wig on? Because you don't want your eyes to go too high if it's going to be covered up by a hat or a wig. You also want to know sort of your facial features. When you raise your eyebrows, how high does your forehead move? So for me, that's a good height. See, there's still motion. I'm just doing upper eyelid in white, the lower eyelid will be flesh colored. Try to get the two sides fairly even in shape and size. Although sometimes an asymmetrical or uneven design is what you're going for. All depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Now, while the makeup is still considered wet, hasn't been powdered yet, you can use a Q-tip or a white cloth or something to just sort of wipe makeup away and clean up the edges. Do some big pips to the dots on the upper lip. Once I finish the white, I move on to the next lightest color, which is the flesh tone, and I have a Mehron Cremeblend stick. This one is Tan Glow. It is close to my skin color. You'll see as it goes on, it will even out my skin tone. Right now you can really see where I've placed it. I'm just going to spread a thin layer. You sort of see it evens out my complexion, so you don't see the spots and all that. I think it looks a lot more professional. If you put the flesh color on, some people save time and skip it, but I think it really does help the overall appearance of the makeup in the end product. Now, depending on what kind of style, sometimes I will blend the edge of the white and the flesh to give it just a feathered appearance, a little bit smoother edge. Sometimes I want a sharper, more definite edge end of the color. And the more classic Auguste Clowns were bold designs, and you'd have a very noticeable edge. And often the color to be outlined. Touch up some of the whites. I'm going to want red and black to be very bold colors. So I'm going to powder the makeup before I apply those colors. Now I always find I have to touch up the makeup around the eyes every time I blink and open and close the eyes. The eyelids squish together and move the makeup around, so you have to spread it back out again, get rid of the creases. So it's usually one of the last touch-up areas I do. And you can see I have some lines on my forehead. So sometimes I have to touch those up as well, because as I've done makeup, I've had to raise my eyebrows and squint a bit to see what I'm doing and check it out. And the more movement those areas see, the more the makeup will move into the creases and cause potentially problems. Since we're powdering, I'm going to clean up a bit. I use Johnson's & Johnson's talc-based baby powder as my powder, and today I just have it in a Rubbermaid container in a large powder puff size to cover a big area. So get it with some powder and just lightly dust the powder on your face, tapping. And be sure to get everywhere, corners of the mouth, around the nose, and the eyes are sometimes the harder areas because they're weird shapes. You try to press the powder into the makeup. It's going to absorb the extra oil. And when you brush the powder off, the makeup will be set and it will be more or less dry to the touch. And since I'm not done with the makeup, I want to be good about removing as much of the powder, because trying to apply makeup over powder can be more of a challenge because that powder will set the makeup as you're trying to apply it. The extra powder off my hands so I can keep working. You go on to the black, and same method as I did with the white. This is black foundation Greasepaint. Just use the brush to scoop enough makeup out, put it on the back of my hand. Now for the black, I'm going to use mostly a brush to apply it instead of my fingers. The brush is a little bit more precise in its placement. Like I said, I'm doing a fairly bold design, so it's going to be a thick eyebrow. It just takes practice to get the placement right so that not getting it over the line where you don't want it. There's two big, bold eyebrows. lips and the mouth. Some people prefer red on the lips. For me, I think I like it when mine is black. I think it looks a little bit more masculine. But it's just a matter of taste and preferences. In the olden days, the circus makeup, the clown makeup was very bold because your audience, you're filling Madison Square Garden or some big arena with 50,000 people. They're 100 yards away at the far end of the stadium, but they can still see these big, bold makeup designs. A lot of clowns these days do private events where kids are 10 feet, 20 feet away. They'll visit kids in the hospital, adults in nursing homes. You don't need this big, bold, in-your-face makeup designs for close-up, so it's not as common or popular anymore. But it's still fun to try out some of the older style makeup designs. And I think there's something to learn from every makeup and sort of how it works, what works well, what doesn't work well, about the design. So as you're experimenting, knowing a classic design that works, and starting with that as your starting point, and then branching from there can give you a good foundation to start with. Good makeup design is about focal areas and where your face moves for the expression. There's balance to a lot of the earlier designs. So it's very big and bold and in your face, very noticeable, very distinct. That's adding the black. Now we can move on to the red. Like the black, the red was Mehron Foundation Greasepaint. Just take a clean brush, scoop out a little bit of red. We don't need too much. Let's put it on the back of my hand next to the black. So again, it's a bolder, brighter red than I would normally do for a close-up. But so there's adding the red. Now we clean up and powder again. Wipe the excess makeup off my hand. Take the powder. The black and the red are both bold colors, so you want to make sure your powder brush has powder on it when you're touching it, that you're not lifting the makeup color with it. Just again press the powder into the makeup, get all the creases around the eyes. Brush off the excess. Now the powder does help tone the color down a bit, so it's not quite as shiny. Gives it more of a matte finish. Now to add the clown nose. You want to make sure your nose is clean, doesn't covered with powder, because the glue won't stick to the powder, it will fall off. So I usually try to wipe the nose off. And my nose that I use most often is a Jim Howell nose. His noses, I don't know if it's a plastic or a silicone or what exactly they are made of, but they are hollow. They're just the shell of a nose. Clean it off a bit. I use Aide as my glue for noses, and I have a really big container. It's lasted forever and a day. I also use it for some of the special effects makeups and things like that. I just take a Q-tip. I don't need a lot, and I just dip it into the container and rub a little on my nose, on both sides of the nostrils, a little under the nose, and you don't need a lot, just enough to lightly cover the nose, and then I apply a little to the inside of the nose as well, and the same sort of spots which get touched. This glue needs to dry to stick, so usually I will do this step and then go put on my costume, the wig, do whatever else I need to do to get ready for the event, and put the nose on at the end. That gives the makeup or the glue a little bit of time to set. But I don't have that luxury. So another thing I'll do a lot of times is I'll do some eyeshadow on the eyelids. I like using both blue and yellow. Originally I was wearing a yellow wig, so the yellow was a good accent to pull that color in. And sometimes instead of black, I'll do the eyebrows in blue, which again pulls the blue into the design. Just adding a little color. This is Ben Nye's, I think it's the Lumiere powder, the Lumiere color powder. I forget the exact name. Probably says in the container. Lumiere Grande Color. And I usually use, like I said, both yellow and blue. I like yellow in the middle and the blue on the outsides and the inside. Try not to mix them too much so they don't turn green. The blue stays blue. So I think it just adds a little color and interest to the eye area. So this, I guess, we've laid it as long as we can on the nose. So one thing I usually do, I'll just tear up a little bit of a piece of a Kleenex, and I'll roll it up into not quite a ball, sort of a brick or a little pad or something, but yay big. And I'll put it inside the nose in the tip. That just helps if I breathe in and it collects some moisture. It'll collect in the Kleenex instead of come dripping out of the nose. That's preferable to me, that the nose on the inside is wet instead of water running down. Just carefully line the nose up. Push. And there you have it, the completed look, or the completed makeup. I would need the costume, the wig, the hat, whatever else I am going to wear with it. But this is, as far as the makeup is concerned, this is done for the makeup. So, this has been Technicolor Mike B, or Sir Toony Van Dukes, with a Auguste Clown makeup demonstration. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some ideas of how to do a professional looking clown makeup design for yourself. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, see you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. This is Technicolor Mike B, Sir Toony Van Dukes, signing out.